Today's topic, human ego, the root of all the conflict. I'm your host. Now, most interpersonal conflict stems from the human ego's need to feel relevant, important, and validated, okay? Now, the human ego can be very frail. Most of the interpersonal conflict that occurs between people is related to ego issues. Anyone looking for the answer to the question, why can't we all just get along, should look no further than the human ego, okay? The human ego is the reason we all can't get along and probably never will. The ego is what gives people their sense of validation and importance in the world. People measure their value by comparing themselves to others. Those with high self-esteem usually have a sense of superiority over the average person, whether they outwardly want to admit it or not, okay? Likewise, those with low self-esteem usually have a sense of inferiority compared to the average person, okay? Now you might ask the question of why some successful people still have very low self-esteem while some unsuccessful people are brimming with confidence and self-love. Why does that make sense? Well, this is because the state of the human ego is based on personal values, personal beliefs, personal goals, and personal emotions, okay? Whenever a person's ego is under attack, it stimulates an emotional response to defend itself, just like any other type of attack. The most common way for the ego to defend itself is usually through aggression, denial, or blame. This is the reason for most interpersonal and even worldwide conflict between human beings. Any person who suffers from low self-esteem is living with an ego under attack. The ego is being told it doesn't measure up. It's not good enough. It's inferior. Simply accepting this position and carrying on with life would be the same as experiencing a violent attack and just submitting to the attacker instead of trying to defend yourself or to run away, okay? And emotional attack on the ego will cause some form of self-defense or retaliation, and this is what leads to conflict. The idea that any person or group of people in the world are willing to just sit back and accept a position of inferiority is false. This is the reason why every marginalized, oppressed, or discriminated person or group in society will eventually fight back in some shape or form. No one wants to be at the bottom. The ego will not stand for it, okay? Now, when does this all mean? What does this all mean? What does this all mean? It means that anyone in an inferior position, based on their own assessment of inferiority, will find a way to strengthen their position in some way to satisfy their ego. In many cases, this is accomplished by blaming or making enemies out of those who enjoy a higher position. This is the root of jealousy and envy. The ego cares nothing about facts or logic. It only cares about its own sense of importance. Therefore, it will not accept inferiority. Instead, it will try to elevate itself to a superior position. If this is not successful, it will blame outside factors for its position. It might blame an unfair system or situation. It might also obsess over its own disadvantages, okay? A healthy ego will always protect itself at all costs. When the ego fails to protect itself, it can actually turn against itself. This is when you start to see self-destructive and escapist behavior pop up in various people. The ego must feel important and relevant for a person to maintain a positive attitude and outlook about themselves and the world. Okay? In the end, the human ego is the reason why there will always be conflict due to the various factors that lead some to high levels of success and others to extreme failure. Someone's ego is always going to be under attack and lashing out in self-defense as a result. While the ego may be responsible for almost all human conflict, it is also responsible for all human progress, okay? Without that ego, humans would still be living in caves, okay? Now, please like, comment, subscribe to this channel. You will subscribe to this channel. And watch my other videos. I have plenty of other videos. Watch them, okay? Thank you for watching this one and making it this far. Cheers.